Hey, so let's start with today's problem of the day. Well, today we are having some string. The problem is saying, given a string of digits, the task is to check if it is a sum string. Now, how are they defining a sum string? A string S is called a sum string when it is broken down into more than one substring, and the rightmost substring can be written as a sum of two substrings before it. All right, and the same is recursively true for substrings before it. Fine. So let's try to understand this problem. Okay, with the help of this example that we have here, this one, we are having a string which is 1, 2, 2, 4, 3, 6, 6, 0. The question is saying that a string is some string only when it follows the particular condition. What is the condition? When we break down the string into substrings, the rightmost string should be actually the sum of previous two, right? So if we check here and consider this 6, 0 as a substring, we can say that previous two substrings, that is 36 and 24, is actually summing up to make 60, correct? When we do 24, 36, that comes out to be 60. So this condition is true for this part. All right. Now, if we have to check it recursively till the end, we can say that let's check for 36. If we go for 36, we can say that two previous ones, 12 and 24. Are these summing up 36? Well, in this case, yes. Right? You have 36, it will be actually 24 plus 12. Fine. And once this is happening like this, we can say that recursively we are coming to an end here because we cannot make sum of only one. We can say that this whole string is actually a sum string, right? Now, how are we going to approach this problem? Try to think of a solution. We are going to be taking help of recursion. That's true because the question already says that we have to check it that way. Okay, let's take a different variation in which we have different digit sizes, different number sizes. So in this, we have a little variety. We have one digit number, then we have three digit number, then further on three digits, right? So given that we have 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 2, 3, this as a string. Once we start breaking down, we can see that these first two numbers, this one, only one digit, and then three digits, well, these sum up to be this three digit number. These sum up to be three digit number. What is happening here? 1, 1, 1 plus 1, it is becoming 1, 1, 2. And then further on, if we sum up this 1, 1, 1 and 1, 1, 2, we will get this, right? 1, 1, 1 and 1, 1, 2. Then we are having 2, 2, 3. Once this all is, like till the end, we can say that every previous two substrings making up the next substring, we can say that this is a sum string, correct? And what do we have to return? We have to return a bool value, true or false. Depending upon that, the driver code will say output 1 or 0. Okay. Now let's try to think of an approach. Let's take the first example only. See, this is a string that we are given, correct? And there is one constraint that a string could be up to 500 digits. So that means if we consider very big numbers, it is going to go really big in terms of digits, right? So we have to keep that in mind. So for this problem, we have to do it recursively. That means we have to take care of the one part of the question, and else we have to call upon the recursion. Correct. Now, what is the very basic condition that we have to start with? What is the very basic way? What is the base condition? What is the smallest digit we can take? The smallest number that we can take? That is going to be of one digit, right? So let's try to do that. What I'll say, I'll keep one pointer here and I'll say, let me take one length of this. Let me take one length element. Simply let me take one length element. Okay, so I will say from this, it will be 1 itself, my first number. And then once this substring ends, till the next substring of the same number of digits, that means 1, let's take this one. Okay, So the next number that I would take is going to be 2, right? Now I have 2 substrings, right? I have to add it up. It will be 3. Is 3 my next substring? Well, here it is not, but how are we going to check it? Are we directly going to compare? Because this could be like not just one digit, because it could be 2 or it could be 3 digits as well. We need to keep a check. So first of all, before directly comparing 3 is lying there or not, we need to check that do we even have a length here? Do we even have the length here that is actually greater than the sum that we have achieved? If yes, then we are going to compare. And once we compare, we can see that here we do not have 3, thus we won't be returning true here. Now, what do we have to do? This call failed. This call failed. That means we are not able to make up a sum string if we are considering one element, right? That means I took this one, I went for 2, then if it would have been true, I would be going on further like this. But this was false, so I stopped there. Now what do I have to do? I have to start a new, or you can say a new choice. That means I'll be taking this 1 with 22. Once we take that, I'll get 1 and 22. This will make up 23. Is 23 long enough that we can check it from the leftover string? Yes, it is shorter than the length of the leftover string. That means we can check it. Once we check it, we again get false, correct? So this whole iteration in which we'll be taking up numbers, 2 or 3 or any number of digits, is going to be false, correct? That means we have to come to the next iteration. And in this iteration, we will be beginning with 2-digit numbers. So this time, I'll take under consideration 1, 2, right? When I take 1, 2, you can see this 24 will be taken. And when I add these 2 strings up, it will result in 36. I will still check that 36, is it long enough that we can check, is this substring long enough that we can check the summation? Yes, we can. It is 4 and the length of this one is 2. When I come here and I check it, the next 2 digits, actually it is equal. Actually it is equal. Now this condition is passed, we have to return true and we have to carry on the calculation. And what is going to be the furthermore calculation? We are going to check with this. We are going to check from here. We will say 24, we will say 36. Now 24 is my first string, 36 is my second string. I have to add these 2. Once these 2 are added, I will be having the answer. Then I will check the answer again. And once I have gotten the answer, just with the check that I've already told you previously, this will return true as well. And when we are getting true till the last, that means we can say that this is a sum string. Fine. And it like this problem will be more clear when we see the code. So let's try to understand the code for it. Okay, first look here. What are we doing? I'm returning, I've just made a utility function, you can say, is some string, and I'm just passing on this string. And what am I doing here? I'm taking up its size. Now I am fixing a loop. Let me just write 1, 2, 2, 4, 3, 6, 6, 0. I'm putting my I here, right? And my j is also going to be beginning from the same place. 1, right? I will be traveling till the end. Okay, now what is I? I will be taking care of the length. Length means the number of digits we are taking at a time. I is beginning from 1, that means we are going to be taking up 1 digit at a time and further on ahead. Then 2, then 3. J is going to go from 1 till I plus j is less than n. Why I plus j is less than n? Why? Because no matter what the longest string is, you would be needing 2 substrings to at least add, right? And further on, the condition will fail that you do not have any more string left to compare the answer with. But still, if you have to add 2 strings, it should at least be 2 halves of the string, of the full string. So I am stopping here. I've taken up this condition that we need to stop here. Now I've made one more function. It is actually checking the main check that I've told you. It is breaking down into the strings and it is summing it up so that we can say that this portion of the string is sum string or not. Because if this is sum string and further on is still is the sum string, the total will be called as a sum string. So I'm going to make a check till here. Okay, so what am I saying? I'm saying check sum util. I'm passing on the string. I'm passing on 0. Every time the next iteration I make, it is going to be beginning from 0 because I have to check it. 1-digit numbers, I'm going to be beginning with 1. 2-digit numbers, I'm going to be beginning with this position. Then 12, then 122. The first digit will always be included. That means I'm passing this parameter 0 here. That is the beginning of your string. Then I have my I, then I have my j. What is I? Till I have my length 1. Length 1 is the length of first string. Then I have length 2 till j. Till j. This time what is happening? I'm making combination of 1 digit with all the 1 digits. That is why I is also 1, j is also 1. In next iteration, I will be 1, j will be 2. That means I'll be making combinations of 1 digit with all the 2 digit possibles. Once this function call is made, let's see what this function is doing. Okay. This is a bool type function. It is going to be just returning true or false. Depending upon that, our main code, that means this one that we have seen, is going to be returning true or false. All right. Now, if I say, what am I doing here? I am making up my string. So this is my string S1, string 1. And I'm just taking a portion of my main string. What is the portion? Beginning. What is beginning? Beginning is from 0. So from 0 till what length? Till 1 length. From 0 till 1 length, if I take, it will be 1, 2, 2, 4, 3, 6, 6, 0. It is just going to be 1. Beginning with 1 and we are just taking 1 length. That means we are just taking up this digit. Now when we talk about S2 and we have to cut one more substring from our main string, what will we do? We will say beginning plus length. That means once the first substring ends, where the first substring ends, we have to pick up the next substring from there. So here I'll say that beginning plus length. That means beginning is 0 plus length is what? Length 1. The length of string 1 is 1. That means I have 1. So from 1 I have to pick up. How many digits do I have to pick up? Length 2 still is 1. So from the first index I have to pick 1 index. If that would have been 2, remember we would be picking 22 because it is only 1. We will be picking just 1 digit 2. So I have 2 substrings. In S1 I have 1 substring, in S2 I have 1 substring. S1 contains 1, S2 contains 2 in the form of a string. Fine. Now what I have done, I want to create one string S3, which is actually will be holding my answer. And I've created one more function here, a string sum S1 and S2. What is the functionality? It will be taking 2 substrings, it will be adding them both, and all the typecasting and will be taken care of. And eventually it will be composing the answer into a string and will be returning back to this S3. So if I am saying string 1 and I am sending a string 2, the answer that I'll get is going to be string 3. Fine. Okay. Once that is done, I'll take one variable in which I am storing the length of this answer that I've gotten. Now I have to check, can we compare the answer with the leftover string by the boundary? Because if this is not satisfied, that means our answer is longer than the substring which is left. We do not have to do that. We'll make this check. If this check fails, like that means our summation that we have is exceeding the length of the leftover string, we are going to return false simply from here because that is not going to be the sum string, right? Now let's keep a check here. Once that is inside the boundary, that means my beginning plus length plus L2 is actually equal to my S3. That means what am I doing here? I'm taking up the substring chunk. I'm taking up the substring chunk. The beginning point is going to be this. Beginning from 0. Length of the first string, 1. Okay, done. Length of the second string, 2. That means, hold on. Let me take your ij values of this example only. This example is failing, but let's say I have I to be 1, I have j to be 1. In other words, I have len 1 to be 1, I have len 2 to be 1 as well. We are beginning from 0. What is the length of my first string? 1. What is the length of my second string? 1. What is the total value here? 2. That means my third string, the answer string, will be beginning from this index. That means this one. Okay. And till how many steps do we have to compare? Which is the length of S3. Length of S3 in our case is still 1. Correct? Because 3 is only 1 digit. So I'll take like starting from the second index, take one number. It has taken this 2. That means now we are going to compare. Once we compare that, we won't find it equal. Once we won't find it equal, we will simply return false, right? And if we find that equal, that means we need to check that if there is furthermore leftover array, we are going to return true and we are going to make checks for the further on values. Okay, what check am I making here? First of all, I'm just checking that my beginning plus length 2 plus s3. If the whole thing is actually becoming the complete size of my string, that means I had this 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 as a complete length. And if I have gotten till here, that means my beginning would somewhere be here at 24, and the length would be length 1 will be 2, length 2 will be 2 as well. And then when I can say I have 2 plus 2 plus 2, and the answer, that means here S3 length is also of 2. I have all these, then once I add it up, it will become 8, and that will be equal to a string size. This is the base condition. When we are getting till the end, we can say that once we are till the end, we can return true, right? Because if we are reaching here, that means we have covered all these string. Now, what do we have to do? We have to make the recursive call to check the whole array, to check the whole string. We were here, we need to make it all for the further on upcoming string as well. What changes am I making? How am I breaking my string up? The string is going to go as it is. Now the beginning point is going to change. The beginning point is going to be beginning plus len 1. That means previously I was starting with 0. Now I'm going to be starting with 0 plus 1. I'm going to be starting with this. Then I'll say len 2. Len 2 is going to go as it is. See, 3 parameters are there: beginning, len 1, and len 2. The new beginning is beginning plus len 1, beginning plus L1, that is len 1. Now len 1 is going to be len 2. Correct? Because see here, let's talk about this example. The first number that we made was 12. And what is the ending of 12? Actually, after that, we are going to be starting our 24. And if we talk about the next iteration, 24, 36, 60, 24 will be the first value. That means we have to begin from 24, which was actually the beginning of our second array. Thus, len 2 is going to be going to this parameter, and the last parameter will be previous answer. The answer that we have calculated in this call. 36, we calculated in the first call. That is actually going to be my second string. And for that, whatsoever the length is, we are going to tell that. Okay, so I hope you have understood the approach, right? One more thing which we have done abstractly is we have composed this function, sum string, s1, s2. Well, I would want to just give you guys the implementation of it. This implementation, you can hold on the screen and completely take a look at it. Well, what is happening here is we are adding our, let me give you an example. If we have these two strings, we are not just typecasting it and just converting it to number and then adding it and then reverse, like returning it. But what do we have to do? We need to go digit by digit. Okay. If we are receiving 123, then we have to go digit by digit. And just like we do the addition arithmetically, we are going to do that. We are going to take up a carry as well. And in this condition, no carry is there. Okay, let me modify. 7 plus 3 is going to be 10. That means 1 will be recorded as a new result and carry will be there. Then once you simply add it, 4, 5, 6, 7, no carry will be there, carry will be 0. So addition would be 1 and 2, 1, 3 here. 370 would be the new answer string and that will be returned. Why we are doing that, you may ask? Because 500 is the upper limit given to you for your strings. You cannot compose numbers of 500 digits because that is going to be storing getting stored in very big memory, which your compiler might not permit. Okay. Now let's try to just check the solution. Okay, so here's the solution that I've just proposed. Let's try to compile that. Okay, so it is giving us the expected output on the sample case that we were taking. Let's submit that and see if it is working for all the other test cases as well. Okay, all right, so it is passing all the test cases. I hope you have liked the approach. Do comment down below if you have any other suggestion or approach to it. And thanks for watching.